Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to create a quick video on keyword cannibalization within Google Ads. Although this concept equally applies to search engine optimization, but I'm not going to cover that part. This is going to specifically is going to be focused on keyword cannibalization issue within Google Ads, what it is and how we can overcome this issue in order to ensure that our campaigns do perform at their best and that there are no conflicting keyword targeting issues within our campaigns. So keyword cannibalization is when you're using the same keyword in different areas. So you might have different campaigns or different ad groups. If you're placing the same keyword in more than one places within more than one campaigns, this is going to cause keyword cannibalization issue. That essentially means that now your keywords, your target keywords are going to compete against one another, against each other, and they're going to drive the cost per click higher. So sometimes, so for example, you might have different ad groups, and for testing purposes, you can use the same keywords, but changing their mesh types. This is one of the live campaigns to give you an example or a demo of what I'm trying to communicate here. So for example, these are two different ad groups within Utrecht University is the campaign's name. And within this campaign, we have keywords, similar keywords, but with different mesh types, right? These are exact same keywords, but the mesh types are different. So in this case, all the mesh types for the keywords are phrase mesh, right? And in the case of the other ad group here, the mesh type is different, but the keywords are the same. Now, when you set things up this way, and you don't consider the next step that you must do in order to avoid cannibalization issue, what will happen is the keywords that you're placing within this ad group and then the same keywords within this other ad group, changing just the mesh types, these keywords will start competing against each other, and that in turn is going to increase your cost per click, right? So in order to avoid that, whenever you use the same keywords as, let's say, phrase mesh types, for testing purposes, you might want to configure things this way. So for example, you may say, okay, I have this keyword MSc sustainability, or let's say MSc environmental science. Now this is a keyword. Now if you set its mesh type to broad mesh, this becomes this without inverted commas. And now its chances of triggering the ad become a lot higher, right? So now, for example, whenever someone types in either this complete keyword or a fraction of this keyword or this keyword and some more at the end or at the start of it, all those keywords are going to be triggered by your target keyword. So for example, if someone types in just MSc environmental or MSc science, Google will still, they might consider showing your ad to the person who is typing in this query instead of this one. Why? Because the mesh type is set to broad mesh. That means, the nature of the queries that are going to trigger your ad is going to be generic, right? So from an ROI perspective, you might say, okay, if I change its mesh type from broad mesh to, let's say, phrase mesh, now I'm going to get much better quality in terms of traffic, right? Now, whenever someone types in something that's very closely related to the phrase match here. You know, they might say that MSc Environmental Science University, or they might say best MSc Science Environmental Science program, etc., etc. But the core keyword, the core phrase keyword that you're targeting has to be included in the user's query. A user cannot just type in MSc Environmental and blah blah something else, and Google would still show your ad to those users. That's not going to happen in the case of phrase match keywords. So for testing purposes, you might say, if I am experimenting with the phrase match, it's going to give me a better, it's going to improve my campaign's performance in terms of ROI. So I'm going to focus more on, let's say, phrase match keywords. But just to test things, just to see how the broad match keywords would perform, I would also like to allocate some part of my advertising budget to these types of keywords and see whether or not they would perform, instead of prejudging, instead of saying that, okay, they are not going to be relevant, period, instead of jumping to the conclusion without really seeing actual data. You might say, okay, it's fine. They might not be quite relevant, but I would still like to see how they actually perform. So you might allocate a certain portion, a small portion of your budget to these keywords and see how they are going to pan out, how they are going to perform. If there is going to be a situation that might be relevant in your specific situation or in your specific case, then you have to be careful that whenever you set, whenever you change the match types and you're using the same keywords, you always need to make sure that the keywords that are in the phrase match types need to be used as negative keywords for the broad match keyword, for the broad match ad group, right? So all the phrase match, you need to copy or download all the keywords, copy them, and then go to this campaign, go to the negative keywords and include all the phrase match keywords here. This will ensure that whenever someone types in the keywords that are included within this ad group, all right, Google is only going to show the ads that belong to this ad group to that user. And you might have different landing page for that, so that user is going to go on that landing page. You know, the phrase match keywords that are being used within this ad group, if the user is typing in those phrase matches, Google is never going to trigger your ad in this ad group if you have included the match, the phrase match keywords as negative keywords, in this one. So you have to be careful. So whenever you're using same keywords, similar keywords in different areas, you have to make sure that they are not competing against one another. This is a short video on keyword cannibalization problem. I hope this was helpful. If something is not clear, it's a little bit of a weird concept. People don't usually pay attention to these kind of things going into their minute details. So if this is a little bit confusing for you, you can type in your comment in the comment section if you want some more clarification on something I said. I will reply to that under your comment and hopefully clarify things there. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I will come up with some more useful tips and tutorials related to Google Ads in my future videos. So stay tuned and have a wonderful day.